going to present certain things. So far, with regards to everything in the game, I've now first was on the front deck. I've now unlocked the gunner's deck and um, the Olop deck with regards to that. So I'll proceed a little bit with regards to the story fast. And with regards to certain characters, they have been identified, and other characters that haven't been identified. So far, um, ones that are considered ended and solved are identified here. The captain is considered solved, dead. Um, the mutinous unknown individual got knifed by the captain is considered dead. So that situation is solved. We just need a name to attach to him and where he is located. Mutinous also seaman, which was clubbed by the captain, is dead. And of course the captain himself committing suicide because he knows he was probably going to die from the wounds anyway over time, so he made it quick. And that's pretty much it with regards to those who have been solved. However, I would say those who have been identified have been classified and logged by myself. So Henry Evans have been identified, and I identified him simply based on what he was wearing, and simply based on his hair, and simply based on process of elimination. If he doesn't look like he's ragged, it means he's of somewhat importance. And if he does look like he's been working, it means that he's been keeping himself sterilized and clean. And that's how I came to assume this guy was Henry Evans. Turned out my assumption was right. And I still don't know this person. I'm gonna attempt to understand who he is. I won't call him an unknown passenger. I would call him, well, actually, I'll log him as an unknown passenger at the moment. Um, I've already logged who both these characters are. Miss Jane Bird has been identified. And these people are considered disappeared, so they left the ship after the giant squid or kraken, however you want to call it, attacked the ship. So we don't know if their fate until the story says you can now leave the ship to identify their fate. So all I could do is name them and classify them, and since they were managed to escape before the mutiny happened, they're not part of the mutiny. So anyone who's not part of the mutiny is automatically not going to be considered with regards to certain actions and are going to be outed. Um, and then there's the midshipmen. They've been identified simply based on what they're wearing and simply based on them being in a pairs of three. So you simply go to your see them all in one group, look at their uniform, and then you just go to your list of individuals who fall into groups of three, would be the midshipmen. So they were kind of easy to tag, but not so easy. And then the royal family was easier to tag than they are. The girl from the very beginning, since she was the only Chinese woman or Oriental woman on the ship, and he was identified by the game itself as Uxing Lao. So I don't really have to identify him because as soon as I got to that part, the game identified him itself. So who he killed is another story. So I was able to identify who he killed or supposedly killed Seeing that I don't trust anything that comes from the first mate, because the first mate was a mutiny, and he allowed for the mutiny to happen. Still don't know his true intentions. I believe it's related towards stealing money from them, or a treasure, or something with regards to something more spiritual. Um, that is still yet unknown, but each of these characters have been identified. And I also was able to identify those who were a supporter of the mutinous first mate. And I gathered that the second mate was supporting him. And I gathered that uh, I'm not sure if this is the captain steward. He could be the purser, but I'm going to classify it as the captain steward. He was supporting the first mate as well. So there was a lot of people who decided to mutiny against the captain, simply because they wanted to either get rid of something that they believe is a curse, or they wanted to acquire something that's of extreme value. But from the last video, it was identified that the kraken or the squid would not leave unless something forced it to leave, which is assumed that there's an object of great power, a cursed object, that they might have mutiny against the captain simply to get rid of, or to attain for themselves. So yeah, being on the sea for a long time might have made greed a normal thing for them, or it could be something that they're trying to spare their own lives. I doubt that these guys are good, that they're willing to kill people for it. It might simply be the standard. I just want to have more things. So mutiny, mutiny. Both of them are mutinous SOBs. He's mutinous as well. Turn on the captain. Um, he was identified as mutinous as well. He was killed by the captain, but his name eludes me. And the bosun was killed by, I believe, the kraken as well, or the giant squid. So it's hard to identify who was killed after the kraken left and the mutiny happened thereafter. So the mutiny happened thereafter the events of what happened with the kraken, as it's stated here. Originally, they started on their trip. They cargoed up. The winter was bitter, or the sea was bitter cold. Then a murder happened due to discovery of something, an item. Maybe they wanted to steal from the royal family, and they killed someone that caught them snooping around, and they blamed it on a member of the royal family. At least that's what the story was presenting. And then events of calling and unholy captives presented themselves, and then the kraken attacked the ship, and it was doomed. And thereafter, the mutiny happened after the kraken left. So it's during the, from the period of bargain to escape, the mutiny happened, not before the kraken escaped, or the kraken left. So there are many things that happen. So I've solved many things, and yet there's still so many things to solve. Answered many names and classified many individuals, but nothing surefire as to why there was a mutiny. So now that I have access to I now have access to both the gun deck and the Orlok deck. I'm now going to proceed downwards to the Orlok deck, and possibly if there's even more stairs going down, I could go down all the way to the cargo and find what they were snooping around trying to grab. So this is right now I'm on gun deck within officers' quarters, I believe. These are the officers' holding areas, but these are their quarters. Where they sit and enjoy themselves and talk and speak. Very nice. While everyone on the ship that are working are scrouched together. Probably the good reason why they mutinied, but not so much as to kill people for it. And now I go down to the Orlok deck. And Orlok deck have both the surgeon's office where Mr. Evans work. No blood stains, nothing I could pick up. All the bodies that are presented around here are simply based on the pocket watch. All the events, all the people who died on the ship are presented here for the pocket watch. Just need to see if I can proceed downward some more. I can't as of yet, which means I have to discover more clues. Can I go upwards? No, not yet. Purser's office. Keep the books, the log entries, everything. Stacks of documents, money stashed away in regard for repairing the ship. I think I already saw the events of these two guys already. Lots of cargo here. Okay. Where am I? Carpenter's shop. Okay. Nothing present. But Carpenter are in charge of keeping the ship intact on the high seas. So. Carpenter can see many things. Okay, it's a necklace, just part of the ship. Okay, so said Carpenter, they got killed back here, I'm assuming.
Secure the hold! Someone shoot the damn thing!
So they end up hitting the fourth steward, fighting off that thing, whatever that was. It wasn't the Kraken. Okay, so this happens, Swords of the Sea. This happens after Unholy Captives, which happens way after Murder, but before Doom. So eventually, sea monsters started to attack the ship. Not just a giant squid, but various type of sea monsters. Giant looking lobster looking crab, sea crabs or something. So unholy captives might mean they captured an unholy looking thing or unholy looking creatures from the deep. So this is getting good. So this is more than a murder mystery. You seem to be something supernatural going on here as well. Because there's no way those type of creatures exist. They only exist in legends. And for them to be real, something has to supernaturally brought them into existence. And the story is somewhat aligned with things like that of Pirates of the Caribbean, where the supernatural is a factor and it's not just a mystery. So I like that. It's maybe an object they have is the reason why this is happening on the ship. So far, nothing. But I do know that the fourth mate probably got shot, killed. There's no probably about it. He got shot by gunfire. There's no identity into who he shot it, so I'll have to see for right now. Oh, I'm not allowed. Okay, I'm standing here and I'm going towards the gunner's store here, and this beast came down here and started to attack them. And as I'm walking by the port walk along here, these are the passenger rooms and lead to the purchaser's office. So I'm gonna go all the way to the purchaser's office to see who's in there, if it shows me anyone in there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If he's the purser, then who is... If he's the purser, then who is the surgeon mate? Oh, the one... Okay, I see. Interesting. I wouldn't guess this guy to be the surgeon mate. It's weird. He doesn't even look like the surgeon mate. Where is he? Yeah, he doesn't even look like the surgeon mate. I can't believe this. This guy looked like he's the frickin' cook or the butcher, not the surgeon mate. Like, what the hell? Like, these drawings are way off sometimes in regards to the anatomy of people. Like, surgeon mate? Really? Like, this guy looks like he's been eating nothing but donuts all day. Well, at least I identified him. Alright, come on, surgeon mate. I believe my understanding of the description of these characters by how their appearance and what they're wearing is more accurate with regards to things that make sense, and also historically what a person would be wearing with regards to that time frame within that century. Like, really, a surgeon mate would be wearing this? I don't think so. But then again, this is a ship, and this is a fictional story, so who knows? They could do whatever they want. Like, I'm not judging. It's just not what I would think a surgeon mate would be wearing. The guy looked like he's working in the butcher shop or the bakery. All right. So that said, he's been identified, and now the purchaser or the purser. Well, he does look like a rich man, so he would be keeping money. Either this guy was the purser. I thought originally this guy was the purser, and this guy was the doctor. The doctor would be around more sickly people that would be more skinny with regards to lack of nutrients. But then now I think about it, he does look richer than this guy. So one of them was the purser, at least I assumed from the beginning. And then once I identified him as the surgeon, I automatically thought this was the surgeon's assistant. I had no idea that the surgeon's assistant looked like a guy who eats donuts all day. So this is the purser. He escaped, I believe, but whether he's alive or not is a different story. Just to make sure, guarantee his faith. Yeah, he escaped. The purser escaped after the Kraken and before the mutiny. So they managed to get to safety because they believed the ship was going to be completely destroyed. And the only people who managed to stay on the ship were the people who believed they weren't going to live. So they tried to escape and go to shore because they guaranteed that they were going to die. So it made sense that they all escaped before. So nobody is going to be managing the money, and there's going to be no helmsman. Maybe that's one of the reasons why the mutiny happens. There's no one to manage the money anymore, and there's no one to be at the helm that's able to steer the ship properly. Um, Still don't know him and don't know him, but I don't really need to know them because they're part of the disappeared group that's not on the ship of the mutinous men. So I'm not worried about it. These people. So that's that. Person has been identified. Now in front of passenger. Passenger rooms are here. Wait, so the cook, so the butcher is killed? Okay, so events with regards to bitter cold. It's been a bitter cold. 2 men died sick during the bitter cold. One went to the surgeon room. One died on deck. And of course, during bitter cold, they kill a cow in regards to feeding people. And this all happens before the murder. That was of the Italian guy. Okay, so after the murder and after trying to kill the rest of the Formosa family, we then skip past calling in unholy captives directly to soldiers of the sea. And this is the first stages of sea creatures attacking. And so the cook or the butcher gets killed by the first of many monsters, I'm assuming. And so killed by a beast. So I'm now going to classify him as he's the cook, he's the butcher. Classify him as, wait, I have to go into the story. Okay, so it's not going to let me tag his faith yet. I know how he dies, but it's not going to allow me to do so as of yet. It's a passenger's room, and this is also a passenger's room. Okay. Okay, that's the bosun. Giant spiders. first mate. Gun store. So they all went to the gun store to get weapons. Ah, so that's who he is. He's responsible for guns. I knew he didn't look like a damn Captain Stewart. The gunner, and the other one is the gunner's mate, I'm assuming. So was probably right about the gunner's mate. Not so much about this one. So yeah, it's probably the gunner's mate instead of the gunner. And he was the gunner himself. Yeah. All right. Seems about right. It's real hard to identify these people when they're blurred. I get them more accurately with regards to just their outer appearance and how to carry themselves and what they're wearing and where they're positioned, all these other factors. And the game doesn't give you a lot of information with regards to what they do for a living with just said image. You have to proceed through the story to see what they're doing. If you're able to identify at least half of what they're doing before you even get to the story, then that's good. That means you're able to deduce half of what's going on with regards to certain characters before the story even present who they are. So thankfully I'm a little bit above the halfway marker. If not 70%, I would say about 60%, which is good. I already figured out half of what's going on with regards to the story before the story is even presented to me. Not the full thing, because how would you know everything in the story ahead of time? You wouldn't know. Alright, so let's proceed forward. Why is there a question mark there? I know how he died. He died from getting spiked by a giant lobster spider. Giant sea spider. Let's see.
I've got you. Don't move. I'll get you down.
Yeah, he didn't make it. Sorry, kid, but you didn't make it. I had a feeling he wouldn't have made it. He's probably still alive. It looks like he was clawed, but if you could call that clawed, more like spiked. The spiked part of, yep, he was spiked. So I solved three more. Solve him. Okay. Obviously, easy. And not so easy. So not a full 25% of the story was solved. If you're starting from the direct line going upwards, I would say about 15% of the story has been solved. 15 or 18% of the story has been solved. Let's proceed forward. Okay, midshipman. Yeah, Charles. Charles, you didn't make a kid. Yeah. Sorry, Peter, you didn't make it either. The giant kraken got you. Okay. I've yet to identify this guy. But a lot of people have been tagged. So he's definitely not an Englishman. He's definitely not an Indian. I doubt he's a Swedish man. He did say the word brothers with regards to those who are on the ship with him. So he's either an Irish or Scottish. He looks more like a top man than anything else. He definitely isn't Chinese. Nothing as of yet. Nathan Peters, Samuel Peters. They're two people with the last name Peters, and they're both seamen. Brother. Ah, maybe it means exactly what it means. You killed my brother, but he didn't really kill him. Are they both Englishmen? Peters. They're both Englishmen, they're both seamen. So I'm going to tag this guy as Nathan Peters. And he's unknown. And I'm going to tag him as Samuel Peters. He did say brother. So it could be brothers in arms or just like brother, brother. All right. We're getting somewhere. Okay, so this wasn't like water on the floor. This was the blood from this insect. So I know who he is. So let's just see what he has to say. Yeah, I'm doing good on these so far. The process of elimination with regards to things from the beginning really makes things um, helpful. But you have to know what you're looking for. So if you could get at least half of what you're thinking correctly, then it really speeds up the process down the road with regards to solving other people. Then you could just eliminate a good 25% of anyone who doesn't represent that type of charm or that type of degradation, that type of tenacity about them, or simply vileness that they have, or bravado that they carry. So who knows? Um, he was easy to identify. He looks young. Um, he was mentioned once, but his name wasn't identified, and then thereafter his name was identified afterwards. So amongst the midshipmen, he seemed the youngest in image, even though it was blurry. So I classified him pretty good. So his faith was death. Death by impalement. He was impaled by the creature. So he was burned. Looks like he was burned. Burned to death. No, he wasn't burned to death. Otherwise he would be charcoaled. Wasn't eaten either. Or electrocuted. Or exploded. Or fell frozen ill. More like he was poisoned. But poison implies someone poisoned you. Spiked. Spiked by a terrible beast. Yeah, I'll go with that for right now. Even though it looked like he's on fire. He's holding his hands up like there's flames. It's trying to bust through. There's a creature trying to bust through as well. One got in, another's trying to bust through. So he looks like he caught he caught fire. It doesn't look like he was bite. Looked like he was caught fire. Burnt. Burnt to death by the creature. He didn't look like he was spiked. It looked like he was burnt. It's either acid, burnt by acid, or by poison, or classified as being burnt. Alright, so let's proceed forward. Damn game has freaking different monsters in here. It first has giant size squids. Freaking have krakens in the game. And then you have giant lobster looking spiders from the sea.
We're no use!
What in the living hell? That is no spider. Oh, this is oh, this is Lovecraft stuff going on here. So there's this whole different type of story in this game as well. There's a type of murder mystery going on here, and then you have damn freaking hairy looking human beings riding on top of, I can't even say he's riding on top of a spider. It looked like he is the spider, or he's a creature with hair all on his body that has a human type body riding on top of a sea spider. They got killed, choked to death. They got choked to death by chewing on a giant spider. Hairy ass Chewbacca riding a spider in the seas. Alright, so I gotta continue this some other time. Bayonetta. I'm gonna continue Bayonetta. I've done a lot of these videos with regards to this game. I'm gonna continue Bayonetta thereafter. Return to Obra Dinn might come sometime within the next 5 to 6 days, but Bayonetta, will probably do Bayonetta tomorrow. Pretty good. I had no idea we're about to go all complete Pirates of the Caribbean here. Pretty wild.